Today we're going to take this tote bag from Spotlight, add some HTV vinyl to create this hauntingly sweet candy bag. Let's make this! The materials we're going to use today include a standard grip mat because we're using HTV vinyl. We've got a Spotlight tote bag. So these are the ones that are available at the counter. They're a couple of dollars and they come in a few different colours. But for this project, I've chosen the black because for Halloween, I think that's perfect. Then I've got a variety of different iron-on vinyls. The holographic purple one is a Crafter's Choice vinyl. It's from Spotlight. It's the cheaper version of all the other vinyls, and I'm hoping that it performs as well as the Kmart one did when I used it for the hat. Then I've got two Siser vinyls. One is the silver glitter vinyl, and then the other one is Thermoflex green. So I'm going to try that one out on this project. And then I've also got the white and the gold from HTVRont. We're going to start today's project in Canva. We haven't been in Canva for a little while, so why not? So I'm just going to click on Create a Design, and I'm just going to create a square design. I like to use a square design because it's the shape of the mat that we have. So I just go down to Poster and hit Square 12 by 12 inch. You can use whatever shape you like, but I just find it a little bit easier to get my head around. So we're making a little tote bag today for candy trick-or-treat collection. I want to use a little bit of Gen Alpha slang, and we're going to create a tote bag that says, "My candy haul is bussin'." Now, bussin' means great, amazing, cool, fantastic. So if you've got a candy haul that's bussing, obviously your candy haul is awesome. So I'm looking for Halloween fonts here. I'm going to use two different kinds of fonts because I think that if I just use all the one font, it won't be as effective. So I'm going to use Jeepers for bussin' because that's the word that you really want to stand out. And then I'm just going to try and find myself a little script font. I'm going into the handwriting font and I'm going to choose free. Even though they've done this update, you still can't do free images. I don't know why they haven't done that filter. Anyway, so we're going to go through, we're going to try and find a handwriting font. It's really important that our handwriting font is not one that's got some kind of brush stroke situation. So see with my playlist script there, it's got little lines in there. If the little lines are there, it means that the Cricut is going to cut them and can make your weeding life hell. So just be careful which ones you choose. Make sure you're looking for things like gaps within the letters or the actual strokes. See that My Candy, it's too jaggedy for me. You can have a go at it. No one's saying you can't, but I just think it's going to be jaggedy and really tricky. Here we go. I like this one. Life Logo. So My Candy haul is Life Logo and Bussin' is in Jeepers. So if we play around with that and try and manipulate it a bit, I want to make sure that all of the similar text font types are all the same size. So I'm just going to manipulate it to make sure that we've got font sizes that are the same, just for a bit of uniformity. There we go. So it's both going. My Candy and haul are both 215. Bussin' is different. Bussin' can be whatever size you like because it's a separate font. So that's fine. Now I'm just going to move the Bussin' to a different page because we're going to have that as a separate file. Just because I want to be able to manipulate this a little bit. I can't manipulate it if I create one file. Next one is I'm looking for some candy. So I'm looking for some graphics. Now, remember that, see, look, not free, no free option. Why? Why, Canva, are you not making changes that make sense. So if I go candy silhouette to start with, all of them look like they're going to be pro. But because we're using, see, remove watermarks. Because we're using this as a flat graphic, I think if I just do any old candy, it'll be fine because I'm just going to use the graphic. So look, if I click on this orange one, it doesn't matter that it's orange, doesn't matter that it's coloured in like a kid drawing, because I'm just going to be using the silhouette of it anyway. So don't have a panic about it, because we're just going to do a little bit of flat graphics anyway. Sorry, not flat graphics, single layer graphics. So you can choose anything. It doesn't have to be a silhouette. And then I want a jack-o'-lantern. So I want a little pumpkin that is going to, I want it to be cute. I don't want it to be too menacing. I know jack-o'-lanterns are supposed to be menacing, but I just want to, look, I'm Australian, so Halloween's not a huge thing for us, but I think if I'm giving this bag to a kid to walk around, I want it to have like a little bit of cutesy to it rather than a bit of menacing and trying to scare the people they're trying to get their Halloween treats from. So I'm just going to scroll through looking for a little cute graphic. Now in this one we do need a silhouette because any of these other ones are going to be just that shape of the pumpkin and we won't be able to see any of the internal features. This one is adorbs. So this guy looking at the side, my candy haul is bussin'. The lid is opened, which means I can use that candy that I've just downloaded. I can use that as well. Now we're going to share this. We're going to share them as PNGs. Great time if you're a pro user to choose transparent background, but if you're not, like I said, we're going into Design Space so we can manipulate it that way. It downloads as a zip file, and then all you need to do is double click on it if you are a Apple user. If you are a Microsoft user, you will need to right click and extract all. And then we're going to start a new project in Design Space. Now you can see I've split my screen here because I've got 5 different images that I want to upload. I just thought it might be a little bit easier for me to just have them there to drag and drop. Now I've done my first one and that is freaking me out a little. So, it's fine. So I don't know why that was so big. Anyway, so now my candy haul is, and now I've just got to get rid of my backgrounds. So you just click on all of those little areas that you don't want to be there. Then you can always do a preview of that single layer to make sure that you've got all of the components. And then we're going to upload it. I'm just calling it Candy Haul Text. And then upload. Just resize it. Just to start with, I just usually start with 10. It just seems to fit on the screen a little bit better. And then I'm just going to repeat that for bussin'. And then the 2 bits of candy and the pumpkin. Remember, we are saving them as single layers. So when it comes to the candy, when we save it as a single layer, it will just be the outline of our candy. Don't save it as a flat graphic. Otherwise, the flat graphic will appear and it will be in that form of a print and cut. You can manipulate that afterwards, but if you just do it as a single layer to begin with, then you won't have any of those issues. So I'm just going to speed this up now, and then we can look at how to manipulate our design for our tote bag. Alright, I'm going to start this design. Now that I've uploaded everything, I'm going to start the design by creating a shape. Now the shape is a rectangle shape, and the reason I've got this rectangle shape is because this is the shape of my bag. So I've got a 35 width by 38 height bag. To do that, make sure you unlock the size, click that lock at the size bit to change that. And now I've just got to move that square to the back. It will come up with that red exclamation mark. It's just saying that it's too big for the mat. Well, we're not going to cut that or print that or anything like that, so it doesn't matter. It is just a guide for us at the moment. So I've just manipulated the jack-o'-lantern to start with. So I've sized him, and I'm going to do a 3 centimeter offset. I've just made everything pink just for now, so just so that we can see it against the background. And then we're going to really have to look at using our contours. So I've done the jack-o'-lantern offset of 0.3. And then I've gone into contour so that the eyes, the nose and the mouth all have a solid shape rather than an outline. The next bit is to put my candy haul and button together. Undo button is fantastic. So in the top left corner, the undo button, if you accidentally move something you're not supposed to. I don't know why, but when you're using Design Space, it seems to pick up shapes that you don't think your mouse is anywhere near, and then all of a sudden it's collected that one, which is annoying. But see, look, it's done it again. All right, so I've played around with my candy haulers button. I'm quite happy with that. Now I'm going to select both those words, and I'm going to create one offset for the whole lot of it. So again, I'm going to do a 0.3. Just going to change the color so I can see what it looks like. I'm going to change the color to white. I can see that it's not going to touch any of the pumpkin component. And then I'm going to look at the contours. Now I'm going to start by hiding all the contours and see what that looks like. But I think I don't want it for all the components because I like that separation between haul and button. Yeah, I like that. So you don't have to hide all the contours. You can keep some of those contours if you want to. I think I might just separate the S's too. There we go. Yeah, I like it. So that's going to be my offset there. And now it's just a matter of resizing and moving around these candies. Now these candies, obviously, when you put them down onto your tote bag, you can move them and place them wherever you like. It's just making sure that you've got enough of them to fill your space the way you want to fill it. So the idea for me was that this candy is bursting out of our jack-o'-lantern. So I want to be able to fill most of that square up with different sized candies. So you'll see that I'm going to duplicate them and then change their sizes as I go. So I'm just going to speed that process up. All right, so I've got my bucket load of candy flying around, and yeah, I don't like that one. I thought about putting one coming out of the actual jack-o'-lantern, but I think it just looks a bit weird. So all the candy is going to be strewn around the jack-o'-lantern. And now what I want to do is change some of the colors of these texts because we're going to be using some different kinds of iron-on vinyl. I want to make sure that they are going to be cutting at different rates because we've got that Kmart vinyl that I'm not sure how it's going to cut. And then I've got other ones that I know are going to be thicker. So that Siser green one that I'm going to use, it's a bit thicker than the HTVRont gold, white and silver. So I'm going to make sure that I just have that as a different color so that they can all appear on a different mat and I can manipulate the cut a little bit easier. Now I'm going to get rid of the square because we don't need that anymore. And I haven't attached any of the candy because the candy is going to be randomly placed around. So otherwise, everything else is pretty okay. So make sure you save this. It's it's a quite straightforward process, but you also don't want to lose it. So, and you don't want to have to remake it, particularly if this is like a last minute, oh goodness, the kids want to go trick-or-treating. So make sure that you save that. And then we can just go through and mirror everything because all of this is HTV. And then we're going to go to make. We'll just click on continue and then choose iron on vinyl as all of our components. But with bussin and with the candy, I think I'm going to do a bit more pressure. So click more pressure as I do the cuts. So just checking out this weeding here. The Siser and the HTVRont are fantastic. So the white for the offsets, great. The green and the silver for the My Candy Haul is bussin', fantastic. The Crafter's Choice, oh my god, it is so bad. I'm so disappointed with how this weeds. Look at it. So as I pull it, it just, some of it comes away, some of it, and I did do extra pressure on this. So it's not like it hasn't cut through. It is sticking to the backing sheet or the contact sheet. It's really disappointing. It's so, look, I have to cut it so that it stops lifting so much. Oh, I don't like it. I don't like it. It looks good though. Oh, who would have thought? Kmart can pull out the cheap knockoff, but Crafter's Choice, not a chance. Why does Spotlight keep selling this stuff? Because their vinyl is horrible too, just their regular vinyl. I don't like it. So I don't know why Spotlight continue to sell it. Surely I'm not the only one that doesn't like this vinyl. Surely people aren't just buying this and going, oh, it's okay, I'll just keep buying it. It's got to go, right? One little sheet of candy has taken me about 8 minutes to actually weed. No, that's ridiculous. It takes no time at all for the others. So, really disappointing. All right, now that we've cut everything and we've weeded it, now it's just a matter of putting it all together. Now, making sure before you even start that you are ironing your tote bag. So, first of all, to get any creases out. Secondly, apparently it helps to heat up your fabric prior to using it because it helps the vinyl stick better. So, I'm just heating it up. I'm using my mini press. I started with a level 2 heat, but I've just upped it because the cotton's really not smoothing out. So I've just turned it up to the level 3. So I'll just iron that out. And then I'm going to use a lint roller to then get any little bits of fluff or anything off it. So go through that. And then we're going to start by putting down our pumpkin. So I'm going to check the offsets first and make sure that the offsets will fit in the places that I want it to before I start ironing anything on. Obviously, we can't iron that now as it is because we've got the overlap there of the carrier sheet, but that's fine. I just wanted to make sure that the pumpkin was in the right spot. So then I'm just going to iron that down. Now, because we're doing some layering, remember to only do a quick heat of that vinyl, because we're going to then put more heat over the top. And if you do too much heat, then it will start to bubble and crinkle. So just enough. So you want, 10 to 15 seconds in each section. Obviously, if you had one of the heat presses, it would be a little bit easier for you because it's quite a large image. But, just run your mini over the top and it will eventually do the same job. And then I'm just going to let it cool down before I lift. And then I'm just going to repeat the same process for the offset of my candy haul is bussin'. Now I'm up to putting the pumpkin on the top. Now, I love heat transfer vinyl because you can move it around before it's actually stuck down. So I want to try and make sure I get it as close to perfection as possible. And then I'm putting a little bit of baking paper down over the offset for the text so that if the heat press does go over the top, it doesn't actually lift the vinyl that I've already put down. So just again, you don't need to go too hard with this because you're adhering it to the offset. So another 10-15 seconds and that gold should stick to the white. I'm going to repeat that process for the text. So I'll just speed that up and then we can move on to our candy. I am loving though how quick and easy it is to iron on this vinyl. The Siser vinyl as well as the HTVRont vinyl is just a dream. I really love it. The Siser one is better on the weeding, but in terms of placing it down onto fabrics, it's very similar, the HTVRont and the Siser. So great choices if you're looking for a vinyl that does the job first time every time. So now I'm up to the candy, and this is just a matter of ironing it down. It seems like it's a cold peel, so I've been placing it down and then waiting until the carrier sheet cools down. Look, the amount of weeding issues I had, this is actually looks really quite cool. I have wondered whether I should have been doing an offset for it, but I think it stands up on its own. You be the judge, obviously. But I think it does actually speak for itself. I love the different colours it creates. And look, it seems to be ironing on okay. And this kind of project is not one where it needs a lot of wash and wear. So I'm not sure how that part of it's going to go. But for this kind of project where it's a one-time use or once a year kind of use, it seems to be doing the job. I haven't had to do any re-irons or anything like that. So in terms of the weeding, horrid. In terms of the iron-on component, great. Fantastic. So if you can be patient with the weeding, this holographic vinyl might be a good idea. Now here, I'm just using a bit of baking paper just because I don't want to put the iron directly on any of the other components. So just remember that trick to use baking paper to make sure that you are saving any of your other components from being reheated directly with the press. Once you've got it all down, don't forget to do another iron with the baking paper over the top. This is just as a final seal to make sure that everything stays stuck down. And look, if you find that something lifts a little bit later, this is all you need to do. So don't panic. Don't think you've got to tear it off. just put some baking paper down and just do another little iron over the top, and then you shouldn't have any problems with it lifting. I like it. I think, look, it's gaudy, but I think gaudy is what Halloween's all about, right? We don't need to be worried about making it look sophisticated. I think Halloween is about putting everything on your face all at once, and this is what this tote bag really represents. How awesome is this tote bag? If I was a 13, 14-year-old kid, maybe a bit younger even, I would think this was bussin'. This is a fantastic project. This is a fantastic project if you're getting into Cricut, if you are starting to look at how to use vinyl and trying out different kinds of vinyl using offsets. So great beginner project. Another great one if you're just trying to use up some vinyl too. All of that candy could have been all different colours. So if you're trying to use up different scrap vinyls, you could have gone mad with that. So I hope you've enjoyed today's project and loving the Halloween themes. So I'll see you next week for a new one. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget, you can always jump on my Instagram, head over to my Etsy store, or even check out the videos YouTube recommends for you down below. See you next time.